Hey guys, happy Friday. This Chronicles is going to be a little lengthy. And the reason why it's going to be a little lengthy is because I have to give you detail by detail, or step by step, I should say. I won't say any names because I told this person that I would not say any names, but she wanted me to make a Chronicles on her behalf. And where do I start? This individual received her license maybe about a month or two ago. And she received her license throughout this whole COVID-19. And of course, when you get your license, the first thing you want to know is when you're going to get your first client. When are you going to get your first client? And you may be open and willing to accept a client from almost anybody. And just because people are doing placement doesn't necessarily mean that they are reputable placement agents or reputable placement agencies. Anybody can place a client. Anybody can say, hey, I have an elderly female male that needs an assisted living facility. Now they're a placement agency. So you have to be careful with that. I'm not saying that's what these people are, but what I'm saying is that you still need to do your due diligence and make sure that when you have received the contract that they sent you, that you go through it line by line by line. And just because someone is a business owner and they have a contract, it doesn't necessarily mean that the contract is on the up and up, or it doesn't necessarily mean that the contract has everything in there that's going to protect you. The contract is set up to protect them, their business. The contract was sent to this provider, and the provider did not sign the contract. However, she accepted the female resident. Now, when she accepted the female resident, the first thing that she did not do was get the paperwork prior to the resident moving in, i.e. healthcare practitioner, MOLS form, any scripts, any information privy to this individual. The reason why she didn't get this information is because the placement agent stated that they were going to get her the information, get her the paperwork. Did they get her the paperwork? Absolutely not. So what happened was this person was discharged from the hospital, and the provider was left with this female resident. A, without medications. B, without the proper documentation. So who do I blame? I actually blame the provider, because you need to understand how your business works. What happened was this agency kind of forced you to take this client, and you were anxious. You were overly anxious. I don't want to say that they forced you, but what they did was they kind of sped up the process, and you were over anxious to receive a client. I get it. I understand it. But at the end of the day, you still did not do what you were supposed to do on your end. A, you didn't have the book put together. You didn't have her insurance information. You should have had her medications at the facility. You should have everything set up prior to her moving in. You did not do that. Another thing that this agency stated was that they were going to provide her with the medications, and they did not do that. What they did was they told the provider to go to the pharmacy, pay for the medications, they would reimburse her. Who does that? But the provider, not knowing, went to the pharmacy, bought these medications, and they told her to purchase the medications that didn't have any labels on them or didn't have any prescriptions. So you can't buy over-the-counter medications without a label or without a prescription. So I'm faulting the provider only because she did not follow protocol, nor did she follow the steps. She was upset, she was crying, she was angry, she was mad, she had all these different emotions, and I told her, it's okay, it's okay. And I think she was upset because what happened was this agency pretty much covered themselves. So let me continue. The provider called me and said, Donzella, I didn't get paid, the agency didn't pay her. She contacted the family. The family said, hey, we don't want to go through an agency. We don't even understand how it works. We're going to pay you. The family member did not pay her. So she called the family and said, hey, unfortunately, I cannot keep her here without being paid. She told them that she was going to take the resident to them, and when they decided what they wanted to do in regards to moving forward, if they wanted her to come back, she would take them back. But the contract needs to be signed, the resident agreement needs to be signed, the bureau agreement needs to be signed, and payment needs to be made. Under any other circumstances, if those things are not done, I'm advising her not to take this client back. So the agency had the nerve to file a police report and say they don't know where she took the client. She could have dropped them off anywhere, and this, that, and the other, and that they're going to report her to the Office of Healthcare Quality. Why? Because they're covering their butts. And that's what people do. So that's why I told the provider, you got to make sure you know what you are doing. You got to cross all your T's. You got to dot all your I's, because at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your business. Now, will this be the first time she's going to be reported to the Office of Healthcare Quality? Absolutely not. However, she needs to make sure that she does not make the same mistakes that she did with this first client. And again, just because someone has a client that they want to place doesn't mean that they're a good fit. So tomorrow, I'm going to meet up with this provider. We're going to go step by step by step by step. I'm going to show her where she went wrong, what she should have done. I'm going to help her put her resident binder together. That should have already been done. So she dropped the ball. I'm not going to put all the blame on the agency. The agency did what they needed to do. So providers, just because you have your license doesn't necessarily mean that you're ready to rock and roll. Getting that first client is key. If you have to contact me at any time to say, hey, Denzel, I need a refresher, please walk me through, I'm getting a new client, or can you look over this paperwork before I take this person in? That's what I'm here for. I'm a coach, I'm an educator, I'm a mentor, I'm a consultant, I'm all those things. But make sure you, as a provider, make sure you're protecting your business, because nobody else will. The Office of Healthcare Quality, they're here to protect the resident. Placement agents and agencies, they're there to protect their business. You as a provider need to protect your business. So I hope this information helps you. I know I was rambling, but it was just a lot of information. So again, like I said, if you need to talk to me about anything, book a one-on-one consultation so I can get you through. All right. Happy Friday. Be safe and take care.